Hey, friend, welcome back. In the last episode, I asked you one question. Could you become her without it? And today we get practical because curiosity without a next step is just a feeling. And we are women who take action, tiny steps. So today we're going to take another tiny step. So, first, I want to make sure you heard me clearly at the end of the last episode. If what came up for you when you named your thing is heavier than a habit, if it feels like something you genuinely cannot control or stop even when you want to, please don't try to navigate it alone. Reach out to a doctor, a therapist, somebody you trust in your life who can walk with you. It is strength to reach out for help. It's the bravest thing you can do, and it is the next right step for you. And this episode is for the woman who has a habit that she's been looking away from. And she knows this habit is not serving her. It's the one she's ready to get just a little bit curious about. And so the word curious came from this concept of sober curiosity. After my husband hit rock bottom and I got curious about what my life would look like without alcohol, I found this whole community of people who didn't wait for a super low rock bottom to choose sobriety. And they call it the sober curious movement, being curious about sobriety. And it's not committing to like a lifelong sobriety journey. Many of them have I was never once drunk. I remember one time being tipsy. I never got out of control with alcohol, but it was something that I was becoming dependent on. So I was curious if my life could be different without it. So what does getting curious actually mean? It doesn't mean you're committing to giving it up forever. It doesn't mean you're declaring you have a problem with it. It doesn't mean that your life is about to get boring or small or joyless. Getting curious means you're willing to ask one honest question. What legitimate need has this habit become an illegitimate substitute for? I'll say it again. What legitimate need do you have that this habit has become an illegitimate substitute for? And that's the question underneath all of it. Because nothing that we reach for compulsively is random. We reach for it because it meets a need. And it's a real need. And we have needs as humans. I know a lot of you moms are like, I don't need anything. I'm good. But you have needs. And maybe it's a need for rest or for comfort or for connection or just relief. Or maybe you're looking for a way to feel joyful. Or you just want to feel like yourself for 5 minutes after a hard day and not have to think all the thoughts of anxiety or depression. Those are needs. And they're not silly and they're not weak and they're not selfish, mama. They're human. And the question isn't whether the need is real. The need is real. The question is whether the thing you're using to meet it is actually working or whether it's just covering the need up long enough for you to get through the evening like it was for me. Here are a few questions I want you to sit with. You can write them down. They'll be in the show notes. You can process them in prayer. You can take them to your trusted friend or therapist or take them to the Lord. What am I feeling? And what feeling am I trying to avoid when I reach for this habit? What do I believe this habit gives me that I can't get another way? What would I have to feel to put down this habit? And what has this habit cost me in my health, my relationships, in my relationship with myself? And you don't have to answer them all in one day. Just pick one and sit with it honestly. Just see what comes up. Sometimes we have to just stop to think about what we're thinking about. So here's my challenge for you today. I'm going to challenge you to try 3 days without your thing. I'm not asking you to do forever. I'm asking you for 3 days. And for some of you, that sounds easy, and I want to raise the bar. Try 30 days. Try a full month of curiosity of what your life is like without it. We did a month of buying nothing. We bought nothing. I broke my slotted spoon in the kitchen that I used for everything, and I didn't buy a new spoon. We had a list on our fridge of things we wanted. And I mean, we bought groceries. So there were needs, but we didn't buy the extra groceries. We bought the needed things. And that month was a challenge. So if shopping is an issue for you, try 30 days without it. See what you find. And for some of you, 3 days is causing a little panic in your chest. And that feeling isn't telling you not to do it. That feeling is information and it's worth paying attention to. It means you probably shouldn't do this alone. So I want you to find someone who will get curious with you. Tell multiple people what you're doing. You need accountability. And after the 3 days, you decide what comes next. Nobody is going to make that decision for you. But what I want you to hear is that 3 days is a challenge if it's a habit you become dependent on. I want you to fill yourself up mentally, emotionally during this time, because if you're letting something go that's been really important to you, you have to actually choose to fill yourself up, fill your soul up. A satisfied soul, your mind, your will, your emotions leads your body to be satisfied by healthier choices. So I want to encourage you to do the things that fill you up during this time when you're letting some habits go. Whatever your thing is, you deserve to find out what life looks like without it running the show. I have a free guide on my website that will help you process through this with the Lord. It's lesliebegin.com/guides. And you can take this guide and sit with the hard questions and ask the Lord in the middle of it all to meet you. I also want to point you to resources. If you are like, I do need to get sober, girl, I had to do the 12 steps for codependency recovery. I needed to get sober of unhealthy relationships. There are support groups out there for almost every addiction you're working through or every dependency. So whatever your thing is, there is a resource out there. There is a community out there. There is a big sister out there who has walked it before you. So don't walk it alone. So your tiny step today is to name your thing and ask yourself one of those 4 questions I gave you, and then find one person to tell. And remember, you're not committing to it forever. You're just getting curious about what life would look like without it. And curiosity is always a dare to begin. So let this be your reminder today that you are an overcomer. You just have to dare to begin. So let's begin.